Live. All right. Hey, everyone. Good to see you. Did you think I was going to forget this? Oh, yeah. If you got headphones on, it's far out. All right, Karen, Queen of Quartz, how are you, my dear? Haven't seen you in a long time. I see you over on Brian's channel, and it's so good to have you here.
Oh, I'm very well, Wayne. I'm just exceptional. Just been so
I
busy
love it.
the whole summer in a good way, of course, and like you say, popping up on Brian's channel, and just really busy with the Crystal Network and that manifestation. It's just been a wild ride, and I've even had people come and visit me on the mountaintop to do with it. But we'll update that at later in the show. I'm going to
Yeah,
give
yeah.
real details about where we're progressing as far as that.
Good.
So just really busy. So
Sounds like
that's
it's been a good summer.
exceptional. Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Well, hello everyone into the chat room. Thank you, moderators, and thank you everyone that's coming here. This is going to be an exciting hour. Just invoking favor upon everyone hearing my voice and seeing my image. Great favor will be upon you this day. Nothing missing, nothing broken in your lives. So, we got a lot to cover. Happy birthday to those who are having them, and anniversaries. You know, everyone has anniversaries. My wife and I got one coming up here next month. So real quick, little housekeeping on my end. Tonight on the Steiger Perspective over in the artistfirst.com network, going to be talking about trances. And Karen, I think I haven't seen your presentation, but the theory that has now been advanced is that virtually all of us are in a trance. And the reason is they started out decades ago, these boxes. And anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so tonight over on the Steiger Perspective, we're going to get into something that folks probably haven't thought about before, but I'll just leave you a little tidbit. What if you could weaponize the spirit of man to launch an attack over into the spirit realm? Because there is a thought in the military that says the spirit realm has been attacking us. So tune in, and you'll find it an exhilarating hour. Let's see what else is going on. Tomorrow, I have another special guest. Folks, you're not going to want to miss this. I'll leave it a little mystery, but he's in the same part of the country that Julianne is, Karen, down under. So this is going to have, it's impacting, just to say that. If you like to eat, I can tell you, you'll probably want to watch this because, yeah. Other than that, it's so good to see you, Karen.
Yeah, you
So,
too. You too. First thing I'm going to say is you held up that little black box, right?
yeah, I did.
Can you hold it up again? And I
Sure.
take it that's your cell phone, is it, that you're
It
holding
is.
with you?
Yeah, it's
Okay, the first thing
very,
I'm going to say about this little black box that Wayne has is that I've never owned one. I still don't own one. And it's not because I don't know better. It's because I've been involved in that technology since 1979 and helped roll it out. I live in an area in the mountains that I don't even have cell phone service. Okay. And I connect when I want to connect. And even to this day, I don't have wireless. I take it out of my BIOS system and boot up, and I actually physically have the unit removed from my laptop. And I always connect in wired and secured. Okay. And so I step into the environment when I choose to, not the other way around. Okay. So I fully understand about that little black box. Okay.
it's everywhere.
Yep. And it'll go into our talks. And so, yeah. So it's just interesting you said that. So,
I contend that it is, in fact, a reverse Black Mirror.
yeah. And I'm trying to encourage, and I even said on Brian's one of his last things about unplugging from it and unplugging, as much as possible and getting into nature completely away in environments where, you can connect with a different type of energy. So, but let's leave that for now. That wasn't I do have a really cool, I'm hoping, little slideshow. It's just pictures, and I'll talk about it. And it's just to pique people's interest to go out and research it themselves. It's going to sort of combine some of the electric universe, the Dihole Foundation theory of our information system that we lived within, and a little bit of the E8 emergence theory from the research gravity team. So those are kind of the three theories. The reason I'm presenting them, it's our latest in science, and it gives you a little bit better understanding about advanced seals and sigils.
Wow.
And
Excellent.
why we're using them, or how, and where the energy come from. And I think at this point, what I'm going to show, and from you researching yourself, it'll give you the ability and the understanding then to start really creating your own for yourself, which of course has much more power for yourself and creating within our reality. And the reason I think it's important at this point, and it was a very, I think, very intuitive shaman on Brian's channel, and realized, and you'll understand this with everybody, is this at this point in our evolution and what we're moving towards it, and it's time to create a new reality. It's time to create new, and even stop copying, say, from the old, even though they're old stories handed down, and they do have power and significance, but we can take that same understanding and learning and create new, and not keep falling back even to the same old patterns, even if they're good, bad. There's nothing for me like that in our world. I don't consider, energy is energy to me in different levels and scales. So yeah, by learning this knowledge and what you're teaching, Wayne, we have the opportunity to create a completely new story.
Yes, I agree with you. And there's others that are now getting on board with that, Karen. I today did my first actual ritual with one of the Solomon symbols, and the crystals played a big role in it. And you said creating a new reality. Each of us create our own reality, but I like what you're putting into this context. I believe that if we could get together as a single focus group, we could alter even the current reality.
Yes, and that's where the crystal network's going, of course, will tie us and everybody together, the same energy and frequency. But we'll get into that.
Would you like to go ahead and show what you have?
First of all, yeah, the first thing I wanted to talk about, just because of my background with geology, because I watched the show yesterday with Trina, of course. I love you, Trina. And because I'm going to mention a couple of things have come up that we've talked about, and it'll flow through the whole presentation. Everybody will see how that works. But it was just about her going to Sedona, actually, and the energy about Sedona. And I've been there often myself, of course, and I'm going to explain why that is. So Sedona is sandstone. Okay, the whole thing is sandstone, and it's quartz sandstone, of course, which is silica. And the energy of quartz, which has the charge, and everything in our communication spectrum, quartz is used. Even at what we're on now, silica is used. So that whole Sedona area is quartz sandstone. It also has feldspars in it, crushed up probably, and feldspar is the iridescent line of labradorite into the moonstones, and it's all sparkly and shows the quartz sparkly, and so it all has really important energy there. And so, of course, it's quartz. And like I said, into the feldspars and the moonstone. The other thing is, of course, it's red. And the red is an iron oxide. And that's from oxidization, like a rust. And that's where you get the red. So, and that's where even when you have the formation of quartz crystals, when you get like my, red quartz caps or red or any of those tones, it's from the iron oxide that's interfered with the natural process. And so, and the other thing that's in the Sedona that's really cool, you have the shades of the purple hues, and that's that's the manganese, everybody. And that's really cool because it's the manganese that forms the amethyst. That's such a healing property within amethyst crystals. And it's the manganese, that forms the amethyst within the quartz. So you can see how powerful and strong the whole Sedona area is. With those sandstone hills with all of that in it. And so it's vibrating with energy. It's quartz. It's in communicating it. So it's well known as an energy vortex. So of course, if you pick up a stone and take it home, and you can feel it in the whole Sedona area. So I hope that answered why it's so powerful there. right?
I love it.
There you go.
It's a beautiful, beautiful part of the country. It really
Oh,
is.
it sure is. It sure
Yeah.
is.
In
So
fact,
that's
there's
why
a
it's,
vortex right to the west of Sedona.
yeah. So that's why
Yeah.
it's vibrating off the charts, right?
Well, now when you connect that then with the Schumann resonance, that we know that the Earth's vibration is increasing, that would be interesting. I can see
Mm-hmm.
why it would have an amplification of the power within itself. Hadn't
Mm-hmm.
thought about that.
Correct.
All
Correct.
right, cool. All
Okay.
right, there you go,
So,
Trina.
yep. And so before I start my little presentation, I'll have to share. Just going to say hello to everybody in chat. I love you all and thank you for coming. Hi, everybody. And I don't have my chat on because I just, it, you know,
It's full.
yeah,
I'm
I
seeing it over
can't,
here, and people are just excited.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love you all dearly, and yeah. So let's start. I guess I will share, and I'm gonna put my little sticky note thing up here in a second. Okay. So what can you see here?
I
Oh,
can see Zoomtopia.
okay. Can you see my sharing thing here? My screen.
I can.
Oh, good. So you
Yeah.
see the Diehold Foundation
Mm-hmm.
introduction here. Oh,
I
good.
do. Yep.
Oh, good. And so everybody can see that. So.
Yes.
So this was one of the emerging theories that I've actually been studying, and when we go through everything, it'll all tie together as far as what we're doing. The first thing I want to point out about this, and as you can see, because what you've been covering with your seals and sigils, you've been using the Torah, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've been using that alphabet that was
Mm-hmm.
created. And this is the science behind those actual 22 letters of the original Hebrew alphabet. And it's a waveform. It creates a toroid field at each of those letters. And you can tell this is true science because this is the Library of Congress, which does all of their classifications and declassifications of documents and indexes everything within the United States. This book was classified as QA76.889V64, which is a part of the quantum computing.
Now,
Okay.
I've heard on top of this, Karen, that it is thought in some circles of theology that the Magi, the Moses and Ebenezer, they were powerful magicians and they were able to take this alphabet, knowing that there is a tone to each particular letter, and using a certain arrangement of these letters would generate a tone, which then opens up a vortex.
Yes, you'll see I have pictures of this and I'll explain
Excellent.
it as we
Okay.
go along.
See?
And actually, when you go through this theory, he says right out that, of course, during that time, Abraham, they did not discover this, create this. This was given to them. And when you actually look at the Torah and the book, when I look at it myself as a programmer, since it's my background, to me, it does look like programming code. It looks like code. They're symbols. They're not letters. They just converted them to look like letters. And Mr. Voigt here actually shows you, and this is what I'm showing you with this. You can see when I point here, this is the toroidal field and the path that the atom it takes in a two-dimensional view instead of a three-dimensional, like a quasi-crystal of the emergence theory. It ties in as well. If you want to check that out as well, we'll talk about that after. And I'll explain about the little diagram that he has below. And it is about, he explains about our dimensions, how everything gets created into our physical world, in the matter world, and I'll be talking about that. And you'll see how this structure, and you're even showing it in some of your seals, and I'll explain how this works and how time works within the information system, and about Planck's constant as well. Okay, so
Cool.
I just wanted to show you this first page, so we'll get right into it. Okay, so now what Doug did himself was he created because when you do your seals as well, it's a 2D image or a flat image, but actually that creation has a power of a three-dimensional form. And that's what he's showing. He actually made a three-dimensional brass cage of the toroid field with the image. And as you see, when he moves things around in a 45-degree pattern in each thing, we'll see how important that heart symbol is. And this is why I'm showing you when he moves it. And you'll see as we go along, I have the slides to show you. Look what it's created here. And I'm going to show how important this heart is and how energy, because this heart takes 10 of those symbols to create. The energy of the heart, this heart symbol, is actually 10 of those symbols, of those letters that you're using.
The tetrahedron. Okay.
Yes, it is. Okay.
Excellent.
I showed this quickly, the hydrogen model, because as you can look into this part of his theory, because I just wanted to show you this energy point, because this is where the energy is strong enough at a point on the physical plane where it gets manifested out. And this is the information that's held at this point. And I'm even going to show you the atoms in the CERN collider here. And this is the static shell that gets created around the actual atom. So this is a hydrogen atom, okay? But this is the point. He's showing you the point of energy or point of a creation that gets manifested on the physical plane here. And this code and information is in the center point of energy. Okay?
The perispirit.
Yeah. So this here is the multidimensional reality and his theory and how things get manifested. I want to show you it has an X and a Y axis. And if you look at most of your sigils, and seals, when you're copying, they usually have an X and Y axis that you can go from. This here is called the carrier wave that carries the information. Notice that it has a square top, right?
Mm-hmm.
Notice it's not rounded like an analog wave. That's because it's an actual digital wave, right? Because we're more in a digital system, they're proving. So there's your square digital wave. As it's coming along, your axis, which is your time, which is just the transfer rate of the information. And what happens with this information that goes along here, when you see these spikes, this is where information, when it gets a certain energy, explodes out the side into the physical plane of reality at all of these points where you've got 2, 3, 4, 5 back and forth, right? And this is what's scientifically called Planck's constant or Planck's time. It is so fast that we don't realize that it's happening that quick in a circular pattern over and over and over. And I'm going to show you the spectrum that you showed. Remember just yesterday, the other day, the spectrum of light? I'll show you.
Mm-hmm. On these planes that instead of when we see them concaved in what would be a normal wave, I wonder if there is a bunching up, and I'm thinking more on the quantum level, when you start squaring things or beginning to square them off.
Yes, I'll show you. I have it in the CERN collider here.
Thank you.
Show you. It's in the barrel. Yeah.
Okay. Just thinking out loud here. That's all.
I've already got that covered here. So remember you were showing the spectrum of what we can do as humans. And here's our visible light spectrum way down here. And you can see the analog wave here, how, spread out it is, and the UV, X-ray, gamma waves, and showing. Here's Planck's timer constant up here. Way up here. Okay. As far as how fast that is for the frequency and the speed, right? And this is where energy gets created, okay? And so you understand about frequency and speed and vibration, and how we always talk about raising our energy, increasing our speed, our vibration, because as you increase that, you increase your ability to see into different spectrums, right?
That's what happens when we pass over.
Yes.
I think this is what I was just meditating as you were talking.
So you're going past Planck's, what we know as Planck's constant, and sometimes it's known as Einstein-Planck's constant. And I have the mathematical formulas and everything, but I don't think that's necessary here. I just wanted to show you on the spectrum, what happens, and it's outside.
Well, I'm saying that as a spirit being, you would be most likely to see the whole spectrum. Maybe that's where you can actually see the fact of what time is. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, we'll even talk about time, and as far as that as well, because time isn't a dimension on its own, and that's why the string theory doesn't really isn't quite correct. They know, and because time is in every dimension, and this is part of Dieholz, and what they realized is because of the information system, time is actually the transfer rate of the information of the data at every dimension. And we have our own transfer rate of time or speed of information. That's why people feel like time is speeding up, is because for us, it does feel like it's speeding up, because within our information age that we're in, we are getting more information. Information is going up and down as fast as it can. And that's why I can correlate the importance of the 5G network. So in essence, it is because our rate of speed of that information is increasing because of our network and our internet and how it is, right? So that's what time is. It's the transfer rate of the information within the system that we are within.
That 5G, by the way, they're putting them in our neighborhood. You know, each one of them have to have a separate cooling system.
Yeah. And it wouldn't make sense then at different dimensions why time varies or seems different, why they always talk about it slowing down or there is no time or it feels like there's no time in higher dimensions. Is that because they're vibrating at such a different frequency in that time as far as information, that the time is different because of their energy levels and the ability of how much they can hold.
Well, this would also imply that there, in fact, they've already proved it, that there are time distortion waves.
Yes.
We're apparently actually able to record that. So this is interesting. This looks like...
okay, so here we go about your spectral lines of an element. Okay, so here we have a gold atom at the atomic level. And in our original science that we believe, the National Institute of Standards listed only at 452 spectral lines for gold. Because I've looked at it often with all kinds of minerals. In each mineral and each atom, they have the spectral lines from the spectrum of light, right? That tells and how many spectral lines we used to go by. Well, here in the CERN collider, this is actually in the CERN with the gold atom, it's actually showing you a collision, and there's thousands of particles or streams of information just within one gold atom. You can see it. So there's not 452 spectral lines within a gold to create a gold particle. It's thousands within the collider. And I'm going to show you remember you're asking about when it gets this is within the barrel, and this is a piece of lead, and they use lead or gold because of the size of the atomic weight of the particle, because they don't want to miss when they collide. It has to be big enough. And so this is when it's collided, it's showing you that from the center point of energy, how it starts his path on the toroidal curve within the magnetics and electrical fields, how every particle does that. And you'll notice that within your seals and sigils, that especially ones that have the spiral or, toroidal fields and movement within your seals, right? You're creating that movement of energy. And this is what I'm trying to show you. And, you can capture that within your seals. Okay, right?
You can. It's powerful. I mean, people don't think on the subatomic particle level, Karen.
Yeah, this is what I'm showing, right?
Yeah.
The sciences and where to find this. I'm just touching it barely. You have to go through he goes in such detail about I'm just trying to pique people's interest and showing you that it's out there. It's the emergent science, and they're starting to match up the science with the magic, and why, again, we're saying we're moving into the age of magic. We are magic. Our world is magic. We just have to learn how to use it. Okay.
As you were talking and I'm looking at this, in a sense, this would be the Big Bang in that reality.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it would advance the theory because we know where the energy came from. And I'm saying on a quantum level, I think we just created a new universe there.
Mm-hmm.
Just a theory, folks.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm back to this original figure again about
There
the
we
matter
go.
world.
Yep.
There's our Planck's constant. This is where it's created the carrier wave. And this is what he calls time, which is all time. And if you look at the E8 emergence theory, I highly recommend that with that whole research team, because they can come to the same conclusion about the information system, about the quasi-crystal reality that we're in with time and how it works. And about the fractals, and it explains all about the fractals and how it works within our 3-dimension. And Doug, Mr. Voigt, also explains about the dimensions and explains exactly that the higher dimensions, going up like 7th, 8th, 9th, are the planets and stars and whatnot. So it really falls into that. Remember, so you can really check that out as well. So what he's saying is that as the information to come into our reality gets shot out into the matter world or the third dimension along this axis, and it does it as quick as this Planck's time.
He's using 8 dimensions.
Yeah, to start with, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
he explains the 8. Now, what this is his model that he had. You can show the energy point, how it forms the carrier wave, goes along the x-axis, and comes into the third dimension and creates. This is an atom, okay? And it'll come together. Now, I'm coming back to this. This is a sort of this is a 2-dimensional sort of image and what it looks like in the pattern and how we form that 2-dimensional image, even though it's in the third. And I'm going to show you how he shows it in the third, okay? And it's kind of showing you how your letters get formed, you know, how you copy them, even though they look on a 2-dimensional when you draw them. I'm going to show you how the energy, how they really look in the 3, in our 3, okay? And I quickly put this in, Wayne. You might understand about phase shift and the bits and how we channel and how we get more channels. And I like this because it's your shows you remember you were talking about where you got your X and Y and you have your different quadrants and the energy of the quadrants. So if you look into this, even explains, notice it's got and why it has the different energies in each quadrant and how it comes from the original and gets streamed and broken, you know, into the 2 streams. So it even goes into that, right? Because when you're doing your sigils and seals, you do divide them into quadrants, right? A lot of times.
You do. That's how I draw them.
Yeah, and it's showing you how you're streaming that energy and splitting that, right? Okay. And he goes into much more detail. Trust me, I'm hardly showing you anything really. Okay. And I'm just showing you this quick and you'll see, and I'm going into this. And this is, like I said, the first little 3-dimensional image of what you're creating instead of the flat. And when you're doing your triangle and you're getting into the pyramid shapes and the tetrahedrons here, and he's showing how how it's, you know, more dimensional than that when we're doing this, okay? If anybody has any questions too. Now this is incredible. So he's showing you how he used the model, his 3-dimensional model, moved it every 45 degrees to get the whole alphabet here, and how it became the 2D image based on the actual quantum level of the path of this. And he rotates each one to get you each of the letters and the energy associated with each of those letters. So it's only 22, right? And so it doesn't matter what combination of those letters in the Torah, or whether it says Abraham or something else, it's creating that same energy. And that's just a story. And he explains how they use those same energetic words hundreds of times, but they're actually just creating the same energy and trying to point you to something else, actually. And it's just a story that they used for the 2-dimension, right? Which is really understandable. See? And here he's showing how he rotated his 3-dimensional one he actually made, you know, as a sample, and how he made it, you know, showed it 40 degrees. He moved it for 10 different ones of these symbols, and it actually makes the heart right here. See, I want to show. So here it is. So here's the 22 symbols. Okay, 4 of the symbols makes this shape, the capstone of the pyramid. Okay, 4 of the symbols, 45-degree offsets. 8 of the symbols makes your octahedron, energetically shape. Okay, really important. Look at this. Here's your 10 letters. These are your 10 letters, right, that you're doing in your seals and sigils. Look at them. There's 8 on the outside, 2 in the middle. There's your heart. That's why the heart is so important when you're doing it. And the energy of the heart is using 10 of these sacred symbols, of energetic symbols.
I'd like to talk to David on this and seeing, I am betting if our reality is constructed on the toroidal field theory, then what it implies is that as you use the alphabet and you move it at a degree right to the left, they're different dimensions, as I could see it.
Yep. Okay, let's keep going.
We're doing good.
And yeah. Now I threw this in really quick because you can go through all of the text and the importance about the apple and the garden and everything. And look,
are you there?
Trying to show. Can you hear me?
Karen
Yes.
says we're still live.
Yeah.
Karen,
Yes.
let me see, folks. Are we still,
Uh-oh.
folks?
I hope I'm here.
Yes,
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, we just
Yes.
got interrupted for a minute, so
Okay.
I'm just going to make sure nobody's on anything. We need the bandwidth right now. So yeah, so you can see this is the, the whole thing about the Garden of Eden and the apple and the sacredness and the knowledge of the apple and the fruit. And here he's showing you, they're showing you. There's the toroidal field, you know. I just threw that in quick because he really gets into all of the stories and what they mean. So here again, here is the 2, DD image. Here's this, actual model that he built. And he's showing that how the atom spins around a tight circle and it traces out the toroidal shape as shown below. And that's his wire model. And then the computer generated one, right?
Excellent. That's cool.
So then here he's showing you how he moved it for the 10 letters. He moved it each 45 degree, and he's showing you his 2D model, how he got the first letter, right? And there's different variations throughout the different alphabets that have come out, but they're all talking about the same energy. It's a symbol, it's a code, it's a program code within the matrix, within our information system, okay? This is the real thing, the real energy. Okay, now I'm going to get into something really important here, and this has to do with the pyramids, the sacredness, the Giza pyramid, and realizing he came to all the mathematical conclusions about the pyramidal angle, the vector of the 5263 degrees, how the vectors are created within the system at the 90-degree angle to manifest into our physical plane, and like you said, it came from the fiery pen of God. So this was given from a higher entity or higher thing to Moses, right? This was given to him, this code, and he used what he had, these 22 symbols. And it's all based on this. And if you want to get into it, he gets right into the pyramids and, all of that and how it works and how this all ties in, all of it. And here, again, here's the 8 letters. You're using the symbols. This is what gets highlighted when you use those. Recognize anything from your sigils and seals?
Yeah. I mean, it's chocked full.
Of course. And the energy of those. Okay. And then he even shows you like the 4 letters. They're really important, and what they make as far as this, right? And they create your all of your mandalas and everything is created all based on the energy, based on these 22 letters.
That's the Star of David.
The Star of David. Yeah, the Star of David, the Merkaba, everything is based on this. And what you're seeing is just a 2D image of it here compared to I'm showing you the actual, what you're actually lighting up and using in the 3-dimensional world when we're doing it, okay?
In sigil
it's actually
magic.
This in sigil and seals. So it's not just this flat image, it's this over here within our 3 to 60 degree. Okay, and you'll recognize this. I'm showing this quick because Wayne, I know you went through the more advanced where you're getting into the whole idea that they're electrical circuits. Here's your transistor and how that's what they are. He took the time to create this same thing within a quantum computer system. We have the D-Wave computer that was used. Just let everybody know the letters were fed in and they lit up, okay, certain quadrants of the different forms of the tetrahedrons, hedrons, and the octahedrons, depending on the letters that were fed in, okay?
I want to stop right here if we can, everyone. I'm talking to Al and David specifically. Look at the bottom right, and if you'll notice that those are also caps. When I draw sigils, I'll use either the line, the pyramid, the triangle shape, or circle. This is, and yeah, I think anyone that looks at it after a while, you realize what you're looking at is an electrical schematic.
Well, of course. And the reason I pick it out right away is because I've had to read lots of schematics in my past, because as you know, Wayne, when you've been in the industry since 79 and things, you had to create everything yourself, including your own cables and everything to wire everything together in the networks when you put everything out. I've read so many electrical schematics. I mean,
There it is. Yeah. And software
so,
is the same way. We
and
use the
sure.
same type of symbology.
Yes, we do. And as a programmer, and you'll get into it, I'll show a couple about flowcharts and the flowchart patterns and you know how that works. So I want to actually show you here. Look, he's using his die-hold system, his X and Y, how things get manifested. Here's your letters. Look, the name Abraham. Here's your symbols, your letters. And when it was put into the quantum computer, and look what it lights up. It lights up this part of the system in these two triangles. Okay. And he did lots of them. Okay. Now I like this one because look at this when put in. Okay. So here's your symbols here, right? That you're putting on your seals and your things. And this particular number lights up your whole capstone.
Yeah.
Right. It lights up your whole pyramidal system. Why do you think it's so important for the energies and this and with the pyramids and everything? And this is quantum computing within the system. Look.
And what I see is
name
the
of
Keter.
Moses, Israel. And it doesn't really, what I'm trying to tell you about the name Moses isn't important. Israel isn't important. Certain words are, like he says, Moses is mentioned 273 times and 103 times and 500 times. This word's mentioned. It's because it's doing this energy thing. It's lighting up certain energy things within our reality. See, he even has them showing you on his thing, the symbols he used. Okay. And the important ones, you know, how many talk was used, how much sight and seeing, and here's the symbols and how many times they're mentioned in the arc. And I can get into he gets right into everything. And it's not my intent to cover everything about it, but so you can see how this works.
Yeah.
See?
You can see it. And it also shows me that it impacts, you know, like the one on the left. I mean, what I see is immediately left hemisphere, right hemisphere.
Yeah, and see how he put in more and more symbols. And here, like Aaron held out the rod. And this there's the Hebrew or the symbols that spell that. And this is what it looks like. And he says it resembles a photo multiplier or a microwave tube.
I contend that was no rod.
No, well, no, it was
a little bit more powerful than that.
Yeah, I even have a slideshow on that and show even our replication of it in our towers and everything and what they show on the Sumerian tablets. I even have a little thing about that. Of course, it was an energy source. Okay. And even when Moses throws down his staff and they say the staff turned into a snake and moved, it was the energy through electrical lines that was being powered and moved and was moving the energy.
Well, some will contend, though, that Moses learned from the Egyptians.
Yeah. So, all right. So you can see how I wanted to mention something about, I guess I photo multiplier. I don't know if anybody knows what that is. I think it's something to do with taking like the photons, trying to figure out the photons and using a photon flux, and you eliminate with the electrons, and it's something to do with that, separating the photons and the electrons by signaling out the electrons with a photon flux. So this is real top science. And here again, I wanted to show you because here's your quantum computer, right? Here's your X and Y, your horizontal photon, your vertical, right? X and Y. Here's your carrier waves, both the one going up and down and the one shooting out the sides. And here's your actual schematics for your fundamental quantum gateway operation system. Okay, look familiar?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Apps, everything. Here's your circuits. Here's your seals. Here's your sigils. Okay, because remember, we are within the system, right? And we're just learning how to use that system. And we have both an artificial more system that we're on. We'll get into that and why we're creating the crystal network separate and outside that will have a separate frequency. Okay. Oh, I put this in and I hope the person doesn't mind. I'm not going to say this. Somebody just sent this to me yesterday. Believe it or not. So it is actually somebody's seal. And look, what I just showed you, everybody, look right away, the heart. Yeah. And I wanted to show you because I don't even think they realize what the energy that heart has, that it's using 10 of those symbols, what it lights up, okay, and different things. And I can see where you could even put a lot more energy into this seal or symbol by making it more three-dimensional, by putting your lines more, like when I do mine, I layer it, Wayne, so that when you look into it, it has dimensionality, right? So they could, you could put a line from here to the top of the heart here and over to this way that would look into it, and your centroid of your tetrahedron energy would be in the middle, right? So you always want to use the centroid position of power. That's the thing about a Merkaba and all how your lines meet. So that's why I'm pointing everything out. We can even learn more about how that works, right? But I just thought it was, oh my God, look at this wonderful sigil somebody made, and they used the heart. They sent it to me yesterday. It was crazy.
It's very well done.
Yes, very much so.
Mm.
But I wanted to show you right away that, look, right away, they're using the heart. And I wanted to show why and how that, and how much more this is a flat, right, quasi-crystal image. If you look at the E8 emergence, and this is just a two-dimensional, that actually when you're using them, you're lighting them up much more than this in a three-dimensional way, more so than it's showing here. Now, the other little thing I wanted to show was the next picture, and I think you, Wayne, you covered it, and about activating your seals and sigils and to give them energy. And I'm not going to show my seal. It's very complicated and not at this time. But I did do in meditation months and months ago a very sacred drawing. I'll show quick. And it had quite a significance and with energy and different things. But I wanted to show you that I place my own power objects on top of my diagrams or on top of my sigils and seals. And when I create them, I create positions for them. So, for example, you have crystals, of course, again, they have energy. They can energize them up. I just showed you the whole crystalline system, and they're used to power them up for sure. And especially crystals that are your power objects, that have your energy, that have your programming, you can see where this is going, okay? And so I just wanted to show that when you're doing and drawing your sigils and seals, look at them more as a three-dimensional image. Try to picture them three-dimensionally instead of so flat. And you can power them up by putting dimensionality and power on top, right? By putting crystals and different power objects and different placements that are important to you. And I'll show you. I'll show that in a minute. Now, I pulled this up because Wayne, you actually had this on your show. You showed it. And look at this. Does this not look like something? This very first one to you. There's your X and Y. There's your carrier wave that I just showed you with the squared tops. That's digital, right? Did I not? There's the input going in, and see these shooting out? That's your Planck's time in your third dimension of reality that are shooting out at these points of energy. See this? Out the middle.
It's a language, Karen. I continue,
a programming language.
Even the one that I wear, and this one's powerful. I don't know if you ever looked at it, but it's Tesla's. I see where Tesla, but
the Tesla coils, and I'll get into that as far as we've been using the Tesla technology and the crystals and power them within our international group of the Crystal Network for months already. I'll get into that after, but you can really see how, obviously, look, this one has hearts, and they really is it is a programming language, energy system.
I bet you if we could learn the code,
yes,
I'll guarantee you that this would make a sound.
Yes, and we are. Yes, it is. Yeah, of course. We are learning the code.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so, quickly, like I said, there's something I drew in meditation. I'm not showing you the whole thing because it's got a lot of detail and complexity and stuff, but there's just quickly a couple of my power objects, real 450-year-old million silver cast trilobite, a triple phantom quartz crystal from the jungle of Brazil with a totem frog, and this very high with special symbols on this crystal. And every time I put it down, it just lights it up. See this? Just lights it up. See the power of that?
Yeah, I do.
And the energy going from my, anyways, I didn't want to show that very much. And I showed this quick. You showed this yesterday, and
Yes.
and I just want to show again. Look at the similarity. Look at there's your triangle, there's your
Yeah.
tetrahedron, there's your circus, there's your lines, there's your flow chart of a computer system. If you've done flow charts at all as a programmer, right, you know that.
Yeah.
You know what the triangles mean, the squares, the little barrels for storage, and I've done them for years and years in your circuits and how everything connects, and the importance of the middle of your sacral, your solar plexus, where all your information, where all your power lies in your middle here.
I see this, and now you can begin to say, if when you learn their schematics and their code,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this gets so deep. There's
Yes,
not a simple.
I'm hardly touching the surface here. I'm just showing you quickly, and this one yesterday too.
Yeah, and I mean, look at that. Very profound. And you take David's work, and I'll guarantee you he would connected it as well. Wow. How amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Freaking
fantastic. Yes. So I joined this quick only because, and I'm just doing this before only because, again, I'm such a wanting to do things so fast, me, and I'm going to talk about the crystal network and that I've been pairing. It was just so happened that yesterday Trina mentioned as well about bathing in salt.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we had talks previous, Trina, I love you dearly. And it was about several of the moderators and people were all having teeth problems and root canals and how that with our energy systems. And I sent her a special video, and I'm going to tell people it's on the electric universe. Okay. I want you to look at these 3 systems: the electric universe, the Dihole Foundation information system, and the E8 emergence theory. And what she said is true. And in the electric universe, there's a Dr. Tennant. And I sent the videos to Trina and several other people that were going through issues. And he gets right into it in a 30-minute video. That's all it takes, about our electrical systems, our pH balance, about the salt, and about our whole muscular system and how that is used for our energy systems. So what I did, I already been for months, Wayne, have been sending these packages actually free to the cancer patients that we did that time and to people that need it. But I just put this because Trina said, but I've tried this muster bath. It's, oh my God, unbelievable. It's been in use for 40, 50 years, this little package. And
can you give me a link to this? And
I will. I'm going to explain what it is. This package I put together with a doctor friend in homeopathy, and he's a pharmacist, pharmacologist person, and these are his psychic teas that he has. And we've been trading just crystals for different things. This wasn't money, and so we put together packages of detox chakra teas, psychic teas. He also has more love tea, and he had the mud baths from this other for 40 years. And in it is your sodium bicarbonate that Trina said you need, but it also has eucalyptus and rosemary and wintergreen and thyme. You feel like $1 million after this, and it resets your pH is what it's doing, and your electrical system. And it's completely explained in Dr. Tennant's video on the electric universe. And so we put these wonderful packages together, and I call them Be Good to Yourself Day or Treat Yourself. And so you get if you want, you get one of the teas and a bath, and I'm give a crystal out. And so I'm doing them for anybody who wants, I guess $20, because if they want, you can get a tea, a bath, and a crystal, or if you want 2 teas, 2 baths, and 2 crystals for $40. And I've already talked to him, and I just put this together because it's what Trina says. We need to be good for yourself. It seemed to be really work together in a combination as a really healing package. And as you can see, you can use them for multiple things. I just wanted to give something people as a solution right away to Trina's comment of let's do something. And so I already had it, and I've been doing it for months. And so, here you go. So if you want, you can get a nice tea, a crystal, and try this mustard bath. They sell it in the States and England. And like I said, it is unbelievable.
I like the idea.
So I'm so proactive. I can't help it.
Well, it's all right. That's what we need. We need more of that. That's cool.
And again, depending on people's money, you know how I am. If depending, I like people to get things. So, anyways, it really works. Be good to yourself and have a special day.
How does it taste?
Yourself. The teas.
Mm-hmm.
You'll love them because it has the same flavors of the Bengal tea that you like with the spices and some of
Yeah,
them in behind. And they do taste different. It has quite a line. So,
I
but
like
those
that.
are basically the three that we've been trading to give to my healing packages. I put them together in a little package and I've been sending people, like I said, a tea, a bath, and a crystal
I
usually.
love this. I mean, I love the name too. That
So,
is cool. Well, make
so
sure to give me the link. I'll
So I'll
put it up.
stop sharing. So if anybody's interested, they can just I'm going to stop that share so everybody can see. So yeah, so if anybody's interested, you can just email me and you can let me know what you want and talk about it and I can pick out a special. So what we actually did based on what people's needs were, I match up a special crystal to the type of tea and to the chakras and to the different things in the package to, again, of course, match up the color, vibration, frequency of the healing with the whole package. So
Oh,
you need
Karen.
the tea's a detox, a cleanse, set you a certain vibration during your day. Then you also have your powered crystal to match up to get your frequency and set. And then, of course, you have your lovely bath to reset the whole thing with your pH balance and your electrical system. So you can see how it's the combination is just really nice.
I know Lynn will, I'm going to tell her about it. She loves taking baths more than I do, but I think that's a woman thing. I don't know.
And yeah. So no, it really works. So
Excellent.
okay,
Excellent.
now I've talked all about that, which I knew would take lots of time. And I wanted to update just quickly about the Crystal Network and how advanced we've gone as a community and how great it is. And okay, so as everybody knows, it's been in a works probably for 30 years since, I've been collecting them for that long and aware and had the idea of this for a long time. For a year and a half, almost 2 years, I've been sending the crystals all over the world through Wayne and other channels. And so the crystals are now in the hundreds all over the world. And I'm going to do a map. You have no idea. And um, it's several groups, not only this community, to let everybody know. I have a North American team developed. I have a big international team that's through a completely different group and community. There is overlap. I have some people from Wayne's group that is in my international team, and they're called Crystal Master Classes, and they've been trained in and the really intricate things that we're going to need is putting the crystal network together. So they've been training for months already. We've been holding these classes out of Ireland. And so there's going to be education as far as those. Coming September, we're going to be starting more and more classes and education systems and updating everybody about the Crystal Network and putting it together. And Wayne, I'm going to actually have the other main teacher has agreed to come on with some of the other master holders to start educating and being podcasts throughout the different communities, including yours and Brian's.
Love it.
If everybody wants to see, I probably update more on Brian's channel than anything right now. And so we do have a huge international team. And like I said, we've already been in classes for months and months. And I mean, we've been teaching about activating your crystals and about programming them and using the Tesla technology in the free form and about the difference between the argonite and using the argonite pyramids and stuff that are stuck in place and you can't put any more energy into them. They're just sit there. They're good in a way, but they don't have the same free flowing energy of our system that we're doing with the free Tesla coil that will actually keep adding and amplifying that energy and program. You see what I'm saying? So our
Yeah.
classes include clearing your whole house, your yards, your areas, the skies above you. We've been training on how to clean for chemtrails and your environments and getting ready, preparing for the crystal networks. You can see how much advanced we are. This is our international group. We've been sending out the crystals and talking about with a whole new team about the frequency, the music, the programming, and the vibrations. One member has been downloaded with, and several have been with the ancient language and tongue. Sort of like it's more of a sound and a vibration, more like throat singing like the natives do. And just let you know, as an offshoot of the Crystal Network, there's also the Knowing Festivals coming together. That's all tied in as well. And I'll get into that with at a future date. That's also another group. No, it's all part of the same thing. We're all doing the same thing because they're going to be going around activating everybody as well. So the music's really important. So I have another whole group that's working on that part of it, and the tones and the music and the vibration required for the crystals, for the frequency that we're going to be connecting into. Because keep in mind, with our crystal network, all these crystals will have all the same frequency, all the same vibration, so that what we're doing is creating a separate channel. Just like when you tune into a radio, just like we're on a network now, this is a separate channel. Everybody right now is tuned into this network. We're tuned into this. And so we're creating a separate vibration and frequency for us. That we can only tune into, and will be communicating at more of a telepathic level and creating our new reality. And the end goal, of course, for everybody who actually has, with some of my channels and everything, they know, and we've talked about it in the past, it's so that eventually we'll be astral traveling as a whole group, and we'll be going together on the other side of the veil, as a group in full awareness and power. And everybody, I think, has an idea of why we're going to be doing that and reconnecting the crystal grid. And it is to help for the changing of the guard that is happening.
I love this. I mean, talk about the magical mystery.
Of course we are. Magical mystery tour.
Yeah.
No, what is of course the intent, right? I mean, I've done this before, and I preparing for this my whole life and aware of it. Of course, Wayne. I mean, think about it. I'm the manager in your IT department. I have been that for 40 years, my professional life at all levels. I'm managing our network, our crystal network, and I'm bringing all the things together, including the hardware, which I've acquired, which are the crystals. I'm bringing together all the programmers, which are, and I have not contacted everybody. There's people that I have to get a hold of yet that I know I haven't, only because I know they're advanced and ready, and I'll get to them, like Warrior Queen and Raven Wolf. I know I haven't touched base with some people just because it takes time. I've been doing it for 1.5 years, but how long does it take them?
How many minutes in a day are there?
For me, yeah. But think about it. How long did it take for them to put our current network in with fiber optics? I was part of that whole thing. So I'm doing the same thing, but for us. So like I said, I've got the programmers establishing, and I'm also, as the manager, putting together the network. And when as you know what, you're from that background, Wayne.
Listen, I made a ton of money on JDUS Uniphase and Redback.
So we're putting the network together as well. I'm doing that as your IT manager, right?
Yeah, this is wonderful. I see mass healings taking place. I see, the opportunity of
think about it. I'm going to say, think about it. When you put that much energy, and what I just showed you about our system in the end, and how everything gets manifested or created into our 3D dimension, and it is a program. You can interrupt the program. If you have enough energy and people and focus and intent in that same frequency with the same, has to be very focused. It can't be just, I think, piece to everything, like, very, like you have to be very, very, that's why critically we'll get together as a group and a community about things that we really want to focus on. And those are the things that will, little by little, will, be able to interrupt and make changes within our reality. So we have the capability of doing that, yes. And you're right, Wayne, we have to do it by focusing our energy.
We have to
have enough energy, just like I showed you at CERN's doing. And just like I showed you in all those points of energy in the atoms and right down to the quantum level, it only is at the point of certain amount of energy that gets pushed out into our manifestation, into our 3D, our reality here. It's a certain energy point, a focus of energy that you need to manifest anything. Everybody knows that. That's why they're always saying you have to have enough energy, bring up your energy. You have to, increase that. Well, whenever you increase your energy, or depending how powerful you are, it dictates how fast you can manifest anything within our 3-dimensional plane of existence. And man, I've gotten really good over the years. Quick.
I love this. Well, this hour's gone by. I got to have you back on. There's a lot that needs to discussed, and I think we're advancing pretty quick here.
Yeah. So I just
Yeah.
hope I helped everybody with pointing in the direction about the next stage in the creation of your own seals and sigils, the power of that, what you're doing, research it a bit, see what you really want to create or do. Keep in mind, there is no evil, there is no light like that, like people think. It's all just tools, please. You can use a pendulum, you can use the Ouija board, I can use a rubber band, okay? Or
You
a piece
literally
of chewing
can.
gum, okay? It has to do with your intent as a spiritual, as a person manifested in this avatar suit on this planet, and what you want to use your energy for and what you want to create. Okay. Everything is just tools. Everything is just what you want to use, and the power that you want to create. It's up to you individually and us as a group or groups of people to decide, what it is,
I love it. I agree with you.
Of course, of course. Like I
Well,
said,
I got your website down, and is that the best place to contact you?
yeah, just
Yeah.
go to my website
I
and
have your YouTube channel down there as well.
yep. And any questions, or if anybody wants anything, or like I said, I put those nice little packages together since Trina said we all need to be pampered. We all
I'm
need to
gonna buy
clean.
one.
We all need, so,
Yeah.
and that, like I said, it works. It'll just make you feel really good.
Listen, I like feeling good.
I know.
All right, Karen, we're going to have you back on, hon. Stay on as we get off here. And folks, thank you. This is.
I just want to say I love you, everybody. Love you all, and the bestest energy and the grandest day, and just think of always trying to create the grandest, best version of yourself you could ever in this reality, because that's all we're doing here.
Love that. Love that.
It ever doesn't make you feel grand or the bestest. And I said on Brian's channel, you know what I said to them? Stop it.
Damn, common sense. It's just not common anymore.
No, I know. So I love you all.
Well, folks, we love you. I'll see you tomorrow. I believe we got a special guest from down under. Karen, stay with me. And folks, thank you. We will see you tonight if you tune in. If not, we'll see you tomorrow. All right, folks, be good. All right. Bye.